Hi, welcome to another video. Hopefully this one is not so disastrous to film as the last one, but we'll see. I don't have a new memory card yet. If you watched my last video, I was having memory card issues. I've like cleaned it off a little bit. We're trying it again. We'll see how it goes this time. Still gonna film in short bursts so I don't lose a whole heap of footage, but we'll see how we go. So I have 26 books to haul here today. It seems a bit big. I'm a bit nervous about it, but I know both my November and December hauls are gonna be tiny. I've pretty much pre-ordered everything that I wanna buy. Or have it pre-ordered through the bookstore. And so I know there's not a whole heap left. So the last two hauls of the year should be tiny. So it should be the last big one. A lot of these are also going to be read either in November or December, and I'll point that out as we go. So it's not as stressful as it looks. But if you can't see, I have like a whole lineup along here. Let's get started. I have already read some of these as well. A couple. Alright, the thing that is right next to me. Let's start off with Pages & Co. This is the third book. It's Tilly and the Map of Stories by Anna James. This is the first one I got in hardcover, but only because it's a new release. And if you look underneath, look how beautiful it is. This is the third book in the Pages & Co. series. It's a middle grade contemporary fantasy about these two kids that can walk, mainly Tilly, who can walk through fictional books. It's really, really cute. I love this series, and it's probably going to be one of the first things I read in November because April and I are going to body read it. So there's that. Next up, another book that was a gift. I've got some gifts in here. This was from Paige, one of my best friends, Paige, from Pages with Paige. I'll try and remember to link her down below, but if I haven't, please remind me. I'm terrible at linking things, so if I haven't done that, please remind me. I'll link both April and Paige below. This is The Archive of the Forgotten by A.J. Hackworth, which is the sequel to Library of the Unwritten, which we both read earlier this year, and loved. And this is the sequel. She's currently reading it. I'm going to be reading this in December for the Clear Sheet Readathon, and I'm honestly so excited for it. This series, what's it called? Hell's Library, is about libraries in hell. And the librarian that runs the library in hell, oh, it's so good. It's hard to explain. It's fantasy, pantheon-y. It follows all kinds of different hells from all kinds of different religions. It's real cool. It's got a real cool thing, and the library in the first book has all the books that never got written is the theme. So yeah, that can't wait to read this. Archive of the Forgotten. Next up, we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco. Just picked this up from the bookstore the other day. This is her newest release. I haven't read any of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, but I'm on the fence about them. Some people love them, some people hate them, and I'm scared I'm gonna hate them, but this sounds really cool. There's a murder mystery-esque, but it's much more fantasy. There's Princes of Hell. Amelia and her twin sister Victoria have been inseparable of their lives. They're witches who exist secretly among humans, Strega. And then Victoria doesn't come home, so Amelia's after to find her sister. There's Princes of Hell. It sounds great, and I've only heard good things about this so far, so I'm excited to read it. Not sure when it's going to happen, but I'm very excited. Let's pull something from the back stack, shall we? Next up, we have Future Girl by Asphyxia. This is an Australian release. I got this, like, I didn't know this was even coming out. I didn't know it existed. I saw it at the bookstore, but I got this for a couple of reasons. This is about Piper, who is deaf, and her mum wants her to pass as hearing, and she signs in Auslan, the Australian Sign Language, and it's set in a near future Melbourne, and it's her journal, her art journal. You know me, I love a mixed media presentation, as she's learning sign language like trying to fit into the deaf community, as well as a boy she meets, I think it's a boy, who is a child of a deaf adult. and he was the one that introduced her to Auslan, but he's struggling to find his own place in the deaf community because he can sign but he's not actually deaf. And he's struggling to find his place in the hearing world and like how he fits in. And yeah, so this is about deaf culture and Auslan. I'm learning Auslan because I feel like it's an important thing to do, and to be inclusive and also be able to communicate broadly. So I'm learning Auslan at the moment, and I just want to support more disability voices, especially in the Australian publishing sphere, and I thought this was a really important one. So the author is a deaf writer, artist and activist, and yeah, I love all this mixed media elements. I saw the mixed media elements and was like, ooh, and then I read the back and I was like, ooh. So yeah, I picked this up. I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to it, hopefully soon, like hopefully early in the new year, but I am very excited about it. It's got a very textured cover, it's very nice. Next up we have Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. I got this from, or did I buy this myself? Was this one from? Yes, no, this one was from April. I keep getting this confused with Horrid by Katrina Lenner because their covers have similar vibes. I'm pretty sure this one April gave me and I bought Horrid for myself. So this is Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, which is her newest release. It deals with grief and ghosts. Also, I love this. So she's got her eyes closed in the front and her eyes open underneath. Oh. I absolutely adored We Are Okay. I read it at the start of the year and gave it 5 stars. And April knows how much I love Nina LaCour. The only one I haven't read, I think, is it gonna have the list of books in here somewhere? I do not know. Maybe in the back. I haven't read Hold Still or The Disenchantments, but I've read Everything Leads to You and We Are Okay, and I really enjoyed both of them, but I loved We Are Okay more because it's a lot darker, and this seems like it's going to be on that vibe as well. So a dark, vaguely fabulous contemporary, and it's really short. This is both a small hardcover and a short hardcover. It's less than 300 pages, and I'm very excited to read this, hopefully really early in the new year. On the topic of books from April, we have We Are Restless Things by Cole Nagamatsu. This is the other book April got me for my birthday. So all of the books that were from Page in April were for my birthday. They just took a little while to come in. My birthday was in August. They just took a little bit. Some of them were pre-orders. Like this one from Page was a pre-order. This one was also a pre-order. I think this one might have been too. I think all of them had not quite come out yet at the time of my birthday. Mainly because, you know me, I just buy what I want. So I had to kind of pick things I hadn't bought yet, which was things that hadn't come out yet. So this is We Were Restless Things by Cole Nagamatsu. I originally heard about this on Kayla from Books with Lala's channel, and it just really intrigued me. Multiple POVs and a dream journal. It's got kind of mixed media components. Like, we love it. We love to see it. She didn't love it, but I kind of don't care. Like, I think this could be really interesting. Apparently it's got some weird incest kind of things, like step siblings, but I'm unclear. I'm really excited to try it out and see what I think. I know it has asexual representation on Page, and I'm really excited to read that. I don't know, this just, it has good vibes. Also, this cover is beautiful. A book that April didn't get me, but I know April's very excited for. We have Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho in Australia. The first one was Gumiho Wicked Fox. This one's Dokkaebi Vicious Spirits. I don't know. And this is set in Seoul in Korea, and we're following two of the characters who were side characters in the first one, but I think they also have some components. Like, the plot of the first one plays deeply into what happens in this one. So in the first one we follow what's her name, Myung, who's a kitsune. No, Kitsune is the Japanese. She's a Gumiho. What am I talking about? She's a Gumiho. She's a nine-tailed fox. And so this one follows Somin and Junu. First one was Jihoon and Myung. And yeah, I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. I half listened to the audiobook, half read it physically, and I might do the same with this one if I can get my hands on the audiobook. Yeah, I'm really excited to read this. We love a good sequel. Next up we have The Two Lost Mountains by Matthew Riley. This is the newest release from Matthew Riley and is the next in the Jack West series, which is one of my favorite series from him. Though to be fair, both his big series are amazing. We love Jack West and we love Scarecrow pretty equally. But this is the second last book in this series because we're counting down to one. The first one was 7 Ancient Wonders. Now we're at The Two Lost Mountains. There was one for every number. You get what we mean. One thing I really love, oh, it's nice and green underneath. One thing I love about Matthew Riley is his books are kind of also vaguely mixed media. He doesn't have chapters so much, but he has lots of like maps and things. We love to see it. This one, I can't explain what this particular book is about because it's so deep in the series, but the Jack West series follows Jack West, who's an Australian, Matthew Riley is also Australian, an Australian, is he ex-SAS? He wears a fire helmet and he gets sent into places to like kind of Indiana Jones them. Like he's going in to solve ancient mysteries. So the first one, they're going through the 7 Ancient Wonders with this like kid who is the descendant of the Oracle of Delphi, Lily, and they're trying to essentially like they have to renew this every 2,000 year ritual kind of thing so the world doesn't end. It's kind of the basic thing, but they're uncoding things as they go. But yeah, it's this big ritual that has been lost to time, obviously. So they're going through these ancient wonders to try and solve the mystery. And then yeah, each book kind of progresses from there. It was an original trilogy. The second book in the trilogy ends on the worst cliffhanger imaginable, and Mum and I were reading these as they were coming out, and it was awful because you had to wait like 2 years for the next book. But now you can read them straight through and not have to worry about the ridiculous cliffhanger. And then the fourth book was like a bridging book between the first trilogy and the second trilogy, and then there was a kind of cliffhanger at the end that was nowhere near as bad at the end of the 5th book going to this book. So I'm very excited to read this to see where that goes. Yeah, I don't really know much about the exact plot of this one, but I remember where we're going and what we're trying to achieve, so I'm excited to read it. This is on my December TBR. Next up we have Sia Martinez and the Moonlit Beginning of Everything by Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. This is Mexican, yes, story. We're following Sia Martinez's mum, who disappeared in ice raids, I think, in America, and she's living in her tiny Arizonan town where her mum was deported. Yeah. So she's trying to get her mum back, but then there's an alien spacecraft, like actual aliens. So it's talking about immigration, family. It's a sci-fi, but a like contemporary sci-fi. I am really excited about this. Oh, I like that undercover. It's a nice color. Yeah, I don't know that much about this, but I've heard good things. I think it's got queer stuff happening. And yeah, blended sci-fi, racism, deportation, aliens. We love it. We love it. A book I have already read, we have Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is the first book in the Scholarmance. Are we talking about this in my wrap-up? I'm not sure how. I have very mixed feelings and thoughts on them, but we'll somehow be talking about this in my wrap-up, I guess. And this is, yeah, it's a book. It's an adult, probably actually new adult fantasy, dark academia vibes. It's set in the magic school, but like everything's out to kill you. I've already read this. I've also already read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This low-key kind of put me in a reading slump just because it was so slow, which is fine. Like, yeah. I'll talk about this more in my wrap up as well. It's chunky. This follows Addie, who makes a deal with a devil creature to be able to live free, and so he kind of gives her immortality, but nobody will ever remember her. So that's the plot of this. It's heartbreaking, but I'll talk about it more in my wrap up. The other book I have read, we'll just talk about that quickly, is The Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. I really want to, when I put this on my shelf, I'm going to take this off, because screw this. This is just here to have a scanner, like a barcode scanner, let's be real. This is the beauty, and this is what I'm going to put on my shelf. I'm going to like hide this somewhere. So this is Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. It's a beautifully designed book. It was way expensive, and in it is little brief stories about all of the saints in the Grishaverse. I enjoyed this. I read it in a day, like less than a day obviously, but it is beautifully tooled and designed, and I really appreciate that. I do also think if you're reading King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, it really ties into that plotline. Yes, I think it would be important. I've read King of Scars. I think you get a lot from this if you've read King of Scars before Rule of Wolves comes out. I think I at least got a lot from it, and I'm scared for Rule of Wolves. We also have Ignite the Sun by Hannah C. Howard. This is a fantasy. Why can't I remember? There's darkness. I think the whole place is in darkness, and the sun's like been gone. And our main character Syria gets sent on a quest to get the sun back. Yeah, once upon a time there was something called the sun. This I really like the, oh, it's got short chapters. We love that. I really like the cover. Let's be real. Oh, that's a nice color. And I really like some good old interesting fantasy, and I think this sounds really interesting. I don't really know that much about it. I kind of want to go in kind of blind, but yeah. A world in darkness, and she's going to go ignite the sun on a quest. This is a series, I think. Next up we have The Reckless Afterlife of Harriet Stoker by Lauren James. This is a afterlife story. I've read a lot of things from Lauren James. I really enjoyed The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. I really want to read The Quiet at the End of the World, but I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. I have it on script, and then this is her newest one, and it is obviously about afterlives. I'm guessing some relation to Bram Stoker. I was hoping to kind of read this in October, but I got a bit stumpy, so I didn't get through what I was wanting to get through. Yeah, ghosts. Oh, sorry if you can hear my fan going. My room is pretty hot, but it's a pretty quiet fan, so hopefully you can hardly hear it. Another book I'll be reading in November is Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. If you can't tell, I'm participating in Believe It or Not. If you didn't see my TBR, so a lot of my November reads are middle grades. This is the third book in the Morrigan Crow series. I'm not really sure the direct plot of this one. The author is also Australian, Jessica Townsend. Yeah, I don't know the plot of this one specifically, but this series follows Morrigan, who is a cursed child, and she gets swept away to the land of Nevermore by Jupiter North, and then she finds out more about herself, and it's beautiful. I love this series. It's got really good vibes. I'm very excited to read this one. It's pretty chunky though. I do have 4 books I'm planning on reading in November, which I didn't talk about in my TBR because they're not for Believe-a-thon. But I thought a whole month of middle grades I might get a bit bogged down. So I've got 4 other reads that I'm hoping to read, and the only one of them that's on this haul is Queen of Vaults by Amanda Foody. This is the 3rd and final book in the Ace of Shades series. I absolutely loved Ace of Shades and King of Fools. This one's pretty chunky, but I'm so excited to see how it plays out and how the series ends. I've already separated it out. I'm going to read like a section a day around the middle grades, and yeah, I'm so excited. This series is set in a place called New Rains, which apparently is based off New Jersey, but it's very like Casino City. They call it the City of Sin, and it's got a lot going for it. I love this series, and I'm really scared to see how it is. I'm really scared. Another one I picked up is that I will be reading in November is The Grandest Bookshop in the World by Amelia Mellor. This is another Australian release, and is about the Coles Bookshop, or Coles Book Arcade in Melbourne. And these two kids that like fall into a magical plot in the bookstore. I think they live in the bookstore. I'm not really sure the actual plot of this, but I really am excited to see how Melbourne comes alive in this. And yeah, it looks so cute. It's a middle grade, if that wasn't obvious. Another book I'm hoping I can maybe get to by the end of the year, but isn't officially on any TBRs yet, is Over the Woodward Wall by A. Deborah Baker, otherwise known as Shauna Maguire. This is the story that exists in Middle Game, and so she's printed, like fully written out and printed this little volume, and it's kind of a middle gradey young adult story. It's about two children that live on the same street and in different worlds. So yeah, this is kind of plays a key role in Middle Game, but stands on its own as well. It's like in Middle Game, it's a fictional book that's made to give some real information with the fictional books written around it. Yeah, I'm really excited to read this. It's portal fantasy, and I'm very excited. Yeah, I might try and fit this on my December TBR. I know Clear Shit has 3 sections, like 2 mini battles and a boss battle that have yet to be announced, so I'm hoping I can maybe fit this into one of those. We also have, oh, I was filming for 10 minutes and we've gone fine. No, I'm scared. I'm gonna restart now. Next up we have The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. This is what am I saying? This is an adult fantasy paranormal by Garth Nix, and basically they're librarians who are said to kill people. Magical booksellers, unique fantasy that blurs the boundaries between reality and mythic legend. I really enjoy Garth Nix writing. I'm really excited to see how this goes. But yeah, they have a license to kill, authorized to kill and sell books. I have no idea what this actually plot wise is about, but I'm really excited to read it because it's Garth Nix. We also have Miss Meteor by Taylor K. Mahia and Anna Marie McLemore. This is their obviously joint work, and is about a beauty pageant. 2 ex-best friends, 2 big secrets, 1 beauty pageant. So we follow Chiki and Lita and the Miss Meteor beauty pageant. I'm assuming because both of these authors write fabulism fantasy kind of stuff, that this might have a magical element, but I'm very excited to read it regardless. Next up we have Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I've heard this compared to this is by a black author, and I've heard it compared to Shadowhunters. It's a Merlin, kind of like a Camelot retelling, King Arthur retelling, and it has, yeah, I don't even realize, there's mages, magic. She was meant to have her like memory wiped, but then it doesn't work properly. I don't really know the exact plot, but I'm so excited. I've heard some amazing things about this. Like, a lot of people have given it a raving review. It also looks like it has pretty short chapters, so I'm, yeah, very excited about this. I love Arthurian legend. I love the comparisons to like fun, fast-paced urban fantasy. I'm so excited. Then we have The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. Again, I was meant to read this in October, but it didn't happen. I just didn't get around to it. This is urban fantasy paranormal with witches, and is combining the suffragette movement and witches in New Salem. Yeah, yep. So it's set in 1893. So there's no such thing as witches. There's no such thing as witches, but there will be. This looks so good. Yeah, I'm very excited to read this. I have it on my December TBR for Clear Shit Readathon. My LGBTQ plus subscription service sent me, Charlie Radler sent me Who I Was With Her by Nita Tyndall this month. This is a queer coming out story, but I think somebody dies. Yeah, so she's in the closet secretly dating someone, and then the girl she's secretly dating dies. Oh, that's a nice purple. Look at that purple. And so she's dealing with coming out in the face of grief. I've heard only amazing things. Everybody says it's really, really good, and I can't wait to read it. If you didn't know, I don't buy contemporary that often, because I like, it's not my favorite genre, but when I pick them up I love them, so I'm hopeful that will be the case with this one. Then I picked up The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk. Look at this cover. This is published by Erewhon Press, which also published Scapegraces, which I bought last month, and they're blowing cover design out of the park. I can't get over how beautiful this is. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. This is a witchy kind of story. C.L. Polk does a lot of witch stuff. She wrote Witchmark, the Witchmark series, and it says it's a sweeping romantic new fantasy about a sorceress who must balance her desire to become the first great female magician against her duty to her family. Yeah, I am so excited for this. It is beautiful, and I can't wait to read it. The other gift from Paige, I was telling you there's another one, we finally got to it. This is Prelude for Lost Souls by Helene Dunbar. This doesn't even have a dust jacket, and I love it that this is all printed into a velvety hardcover. I think it's so cool. And this follows Deck Hampton. There's seances in his town, and his best friend Russ is a medium, and so it's kind of got some musical things going on, some like death kind of things going on. So it says, in the town of St. Hilaire, most make their living by talking to the dead. And in the summer, tourists come, but activity is controlled by the guild. I haven't read anything by Helene Dunbar before, I don't think. We Are Lost and Found. I might have read, I've read We Are Lost and Found, I think. Is that the book I'm thinking of? Because if it is, I've read it, own that. And just didn't click that it was the same author. That's very different vibes. It is. So We Are Lost and Found, which I have read, is also by Helene Dunbar. And it's like contemporary, dealing with coming out as queer and during the AIDS crisis. This obviously has very different vibes. This is ghosty stuff and music stuff. If you can't tell, there's a lot of music notes in here. And I don't know, it just looks so good. It has really good vibes. I'm very interested in it. And yeah, I don't know that much about the actual plot, but like the vibes, guys. Thank you so much to Paige for gifting this to me. And finally for this haul is another book I'm planning on reading in December for the Clear Shit Readathon, and that is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. When I ordered this, I honestly did not have any clue how big it is. It is over 600 pages. It does have mixed media elements and illustrations, which, like, you know me, we're sold when it's got illustrations. But this is a dark academia following a school, the Brookhants School for Girls, in 1902. Flo and Clara are madly in love with each other, as well as completely obsessed with the story of Mary McLean, the scandalous debut memoir by 19-year-old McLean. And then they're found dead in the woods after a horrific wasp attack, with the book next to their entwined bodies. Within 5 years, the school is closed, but not before 3 more people die on the property, each in a troubling way, and then we're following 100 years later, once they open their doors again. Yeah. And they're filming a movie about it. I don't know, that sounds so good. It's queer, super queer. Apparently it also has polyamory, which we're here for. And yeah, I don't know, I'm so excited. Oh my god, it has a This Book Belongs To. That's so cool. I am very excited to read this. I don't know when exactly I'll get to it. No, I know exactly when I get to it. In December. I'm fucking getting to it in December. But I'm just so excited. It looks so beautiful. I'm so ready. So those are all the books I read in the month of, these are the books I purchased in the month of October. This is my October book haul. Oh my god, I'm all over the place. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these, please give me your non-spoiler thoughts down below. And otherwise, I'll see you so much I'll see you soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Oh my god, I'm a mess. Bye.